Hello friends, Pete the Drummer here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a new season of hiking and exploring videos. It is spring 2019 and I find myself in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Sorry for the wind noise, I hope you can hear me okay. The reason I'm in Doylestown today is because Doylestown is the birthplace and former home of an amazing man, a guy by the name of Henry Mercer. Henry Mercer was a tile maker. And in the early 1900s, he set up his tile factory just down the road over there. And in order to advertise his tiles, he decided to build a house. But not just any house. He built a house where he could cover the rooms floor to ceiling in all of his amazing, beautiful tiles. And we're not just talking about kitchen tiles, which of course he did make. That was his bread and butter. But he also made beautiful and intricate tiles that could be laid out on the walls jigsaw puzzle style and make beautiful mosaics. And so he decided to build this house where he would advertise and show off his tiles, but he didn't just build a house. He built himself a castle. That is Fonthill. And not only are we going inside for a tour, but today we are getting a private tour of Fonthill. Unheard of. What a stroke of luck. Anyway, I hope you like it. Keep watching. Just next to the house itself is the old carriage house, which was recently converted into the Welcome Center. The last time I was here, that red door there wasn't there. And from what I remember, I'm not 100% sure on this, but if you want to have a wedding here, you can have the reception in the upstairs part. But not, unfortunately, in Fonthill Castle itself. So the tour starts in this little room called the conservatory, which is decorated with some very intricate tiles, as you can see. And then you cross this little hallway where the ticket sale station used to be and the gift shop, and you follow your tour guide through this door and you enter into the library. Look at this room. The library is certainly one of the more intricately decorated rooms of the house. It's also interesting to note that catwalk there, which unfortunately I've never been able to walk upon. Though I don't think they let you walk on that catwalk in any of the tours. You can see those concrete bookshelves at the top of the catwalk there. All of the bookshelves are numbered, and here's an example of one of the bookshelves on the first floor. They're all numbered, and all of the books are numbered as well, corresponding to their shelf. Most of the more decorated rooms have these wonderful old tapestries, which unfortunately have faded, but you can see that they're still pretty intricate. And here's some of the original furniture. So here, the tour guide is showing off this stove plate, which is considerably older than the house, but she's pointing out that Henry Mercer got the idea for these tiles, the shapes and the images are taken directly from this stoveplate. And these tiles tell the story of Ponce de Leon searching for the Fountain of Youth. Plus ultra is the mantra of the house, and it means more beyond. And it's a good mantra because every time I visit Fonthill, I see and learn something more. These little tiles here are an example of Henry Mercer's bread and butter tiles. And these tiles, in fact, most of the tiles can still be purchased at the Moravian Pottery Works. Library, you go up a few stairs and you enter the largest room of the house called the saloon. And the saloon is also where Fonthill will have the occasional party. But I mean, it's just so amazing with all the little staircase. That little staircase there goes out to a little deck. And you can see all of these columns that hold up the massive, just the mass of the concrete structure. And here are some more examples of the brocade style tiles. And I mean, just look at this room. This is from the southwest corner of the room. To my left is the door that would enter into the library where we were. Here's Henry Mercer himself, a life-size photograph. And that door to the left of Henry, that door leads to a concrete spiral staircase that goes all the way up to the top of the tower. And in fact, it meets up with another entrance to the same staircase that we're going to see later. These are some of the oldest tiles in the house. These are old Sumerian tiles, and they are receipts, actually, for goods purchased in a market. And this is where we're heading next. I'm following my tour guide up one of the interesting concrete staircases. You briefly caught a hidden staircase there, and we go through, pass through this landing, and we enter into the sort of reception area going into the breakfast room. And the breakfast room is actually the third floor of the original farmhouse that was on the property. If you look closely at the house, you can see the original farmhouse just there. That was the original farmhouse that existed on the property before Henry Mercer encased it in the concrete and then built the rest of the house off of the ends of it. This side here, you can see when you take the full tour, the behind-the-scenes tour, and there's no tiles or anything in that area. In fact, that was the servants' quarters. All the tiles and all the really good stuff are in this section of the house. So the tour guides often say that Henry Mercer built his house from the inside out. So I'm going to try and explain how he did that. Please excuse the crudity of these diagrams. I did not have time to draw them to scale. So he would start by building columns. Any room, doesn't matter. He would start by building columns. Then he would place a platform on top of those columns. On top of the platform, he would put sand that would be in the shape of, you know, whatever he wanted the vaulted ceiling to look like. Then he would place his brocade tiles face down into the sand, leaving the back exposed to the air, and finally encase all of it in concrete, thereby trapping those tiles. And then he would remove the wooden platforms and the mounds of sand, and he would be left with this. This is one of the top of the columns, and you can see how the vaulted ceiling comes down to the top of the column. That's where the sand was, and you can see all the tiles that were placed face down into the sand. And once everything was removed, that's what it looked like. Okay, so now we are moving up another small staircase, and as you can see, beyond that rope there, which unfortunately we're not allowed to go past, there's another small staircase that goes down and to the left, and you can see another photographic cutout there of Henry Mercer and his dog Rollo. We're going to talk more about Rollo in a bit. That little staircase goes out to a very small landing, or balcony rather, on the outside east side of the house, and it's directly above that small round conservatory room where the tour started. As we continue to the right, we go up another little bit of stairs and we enter the keyboard room. And this is called the keyboard room because of this door right here. Behind that door, which is not really a door, it's just, I don't really know how to describe it. Unfortunately, it was closed the day that I was there, but it's more just like a board that kind of looks like a door. And on the other side of that board are little cubby holes that hold every key to every door in the house. And if I remember correctly, it's something like 100 and some odd keys. And now here, the tour guide is simply showing me a collection of Persian tiles from the 17th and 18th century. These are just part of his collection of antique tiles. And I'm sorry I didn't get a closer look at them, but they are quite beautiful. Now from the keyboard room, we go up another small flight of stairs and we enter a guest bedroom that is called the East Room. And of course it's called the East Room because these windows face east. Now this room is not lavishly decorated with Henry Mercer's brocade tiles. There is a little bit on the ceiling that we're going to see in a minute, but it does look out over the long driveway that's lined with sycamore trees. And as you can see, a lot of the furnishings in the room are made from poured concrete. There's a shot of the ceiling. Again, it's decorative, but not as decorative as some of the other rooms. That cardboard cutout there, that's a picture of the housekeeper that lived there back in the early 1900s. I forget her name. She was also Henry Mercer's kind of a personal assistant. But take note of the fireplace and the door to the right of it. I mean, again, the fireplace is just, it's I don't know. I don't know why I get such a kick out of it. It's just so cool looking. And the door is interesting because almost all of the doors have a different top shape to them. And in this case, it kind of comes to a triangle or a pyramid style. But it's almost as if no two doors in this place are alike. Some of them are rounded, some of them are squared. It's just, the guy's imagination was fascinating. So here the tour guide is pointing out, you can see in her flashlight spot there, the call bell system that was used throughout the house. In all of the bedrooms, there is a button similar to that, and the other end of the button would correspond to a box in the kitchen called an annunciator. And if you're familiar with the show Downton Abbey, where the servants ate at a dining table that was backed by a huge wall full of bells, this is basically the same idea. The annunciator box was considerably smaller than the Downton Abbey wall full of bells, but the idea is the same. You ring a bell in one of the bedrooms, and the annunciator would tell the servants in the kitchen which room is requiring some form of assistance. Looking out the northern facing window of the east bedroom, You can see the roof of the original farmhouse, and you can see how it is entirely encased in concrete. There are no roof tiles or shingles or anything like that. The entire farmhouse, once Henry Mercer constructed the northern and southern sides of the house, he encased it all in concrete. From the east bedroom, the tour continues up another small flight of stairs through the bathroom for the east bedroom, but it was also shared by the next room that we're going to go in. But look at this bathroom. How incredible is that? Highly decorated with tiles, but as I shut the door to the bathroom, we enter into Henry Mercer's dressing room. Now, there actually isn't much to see in Henry Mercer's dressing room other than a big armoire. So we're going to continue southward in the house, and we enter the Columbus room. This is the most tile decorated room in the house. Look at that ceiling. And believe it or not, it tells the story of Columbus coming to America. Also, somewhere up there, I forget exactly where, there's a bit of a tribute to Henry Mercer's Aunt Elizabeth, simply saying, "For E.L.'s sake." His Aunt Elizabeth was basically a very wealthy American aristocrat. If I remember correctly, she was descended from British monarchy, and basically she was rich, and she is Henry Mercer's benefactor. She gave him the funds that he needed not only to build this house, but before then to start his tile factory. Also, you can see here the floor is also considerably decorated, not with brocade tiles, of course, but still pretty decorative. And here we're looking at two of the windows, and much like the doors, the windows are all differently shaped and differently sized, and if I remember correctly, there are over 200 windows of this type. Here's a quick look at the fireplace in the Columbus room. Sorry about the bad lighting. These are Rollo's stairs, and as you can see, there's a cardboard cutout of Henry Mercer's dog Rollo. Henry Mercer named these stairs Rollo's stairs because when Henry poured the concrete to make the stairs, as you can see, Rollo left his paw prints in the wet concrete. And Rollo's stairs go up to the top of the tower. So as you can see here, the Rollo stairs go up and become a concrete winding staircase, and this is the staircase that goes all the way to the top of the tower. Now, the arched door just to the right, if I remember correctly, that's the staircase that leads back down directly to the saloon, or the saloon room, whatever it was, where I pointed out the door next to the cardboard cutout of Henry Mercer at the top of the video. So you would come out that arched door on the right, and then to continue up to the top of the tower, you go up Rollo's stairs, and as you can see, the stairs wind and they go up where the cisterns were. And then above that, you get access to the roof of the tower. So the tour continues through another just amazingly interesting bathroom. God, I love the bathrooms in the house. They're just so cool looking. And through that bathroom, we enter into Henry Mercer's bedroom, and here are some of his medications and other knickknacks. You can see his bed there, the call button next to it, dressers, tables, etc. This was the room that Henry Mercer passed away in. And as you can see, this room is considerably darker than the east bedroom. And the reason for that was towards the end of his life, Henry Mercer had a sensitivity to light. So he spent his final days in a dark bedroom. From Henry's bedroom, we walk down a few stairs. To the left there is a door that leads out to a small patio. Here, the tour guide is pointing out an Otis elevator. Otis is the company that my paternal grandfather used to work for. And that's looking back there, back into his bedroom. As the tour continues, we get a quick look at the west side of the house facing north. And here are antique Chinese roof tiles. And these tiles indicate the various Chinese years, like the year of the cow, the year of the horse, the year of the rat, etc. Here's a quick look at a portrait of Henry's Aunt Elizabeth. And as we come down these stairs, we're looking back now into that landing where to the left was Henry Mercer's bedroom. Here's another look at the Chinese roof tiles. And as we make our way to the landing, we are back in the keyboard room. As the tour continues, we now turn into Henry Mercer's first bedroom, when he first moved into the house. And as you can see, this room faces east and is much brighter than his final bedroom. And that picture that's propped on that chair there is an historic photograph that, if you can look at it closely, you can see how much detail there was in the tapestry over the bed. Unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, all the tapestries have faded. But if you can see in that black and white photo, you can see just how detailed that tapestry used to be. And I can only imagine the colors that it used to be. I'm sure it was amazing. We're now in Henry Mercer's study. And we're looking back. You can see down that hall there is his bedroom, his first bedroom. The roof here is fairly well decorated. I don't remember what the story was there. He also contains a collection of his ancient pottery works. And this was a couch that he used to nap on almost every afternoon. Again, more of the ancient pottery. That skull, the tour guides often say that Henry kept that skull on the fireplace. First, that he got the idea from an old illustration, and that illustration is hanging in the room. I don't remember if I got some video of it or not, but basically he kept that skull, which is a reproduction. It's not a real human skull, but he kept it there to remind himself that he is mortal. Here we're getting a look at a very unusual looking old oil lamp. And in fact, you can see here, this section of the ceiling is considerably darker than the rest of the ceiling, because the soot from the burning oil basically stained the ceiling, discolored the ceiling. And this is one of the more photographic sections of the house. This is looking down the corridor of the map room. This here on these shelves is a collection of travel books and some other paperwork and some pottery. And here's all the travel books. And here are some files that Henry used to keep in boxes that he made and labeled, and that's how he kept his business paperwork. So here we're getting a quick look at the sort of trapezoidal-shaped map room. And just beyond the map room is another beautifully appointed bathroom with a carbon filament bulb. That's a reproduction bulb, but it's not LED. It's actual a real carbon filament. And this is just another cool little bathroom. And from there, We are stepping down another few stairs into the west room, or the west bedroom. Here in the west bedroom is a fireplace with a surround of brocade tiles that is a tribute to Charles Dickens, and it tells the story of Dickens's Pickwick Papers. Pretty cool. The west bedroom enters into the Bluebeard room, which is obviously another bedroom, and the tour guides tell me that this was thought to be specifically a woman's bedroom based on the colors and the fact that there's a dresser and an armoire. And here, this is another one of Henry's beautiful, intricate brocade tile patterns. And this one tells the story of the pirate Bluebeard and his wives and how he basically killed them all. Pretty morbid for a woman's bedroom. As the tour starts to wind down, we walk down a not so hidden staircase, but as you can see, a staircase within two paned glass walls. And we're back at the first landing from when we went up the first set of stairs from the saloon. And here's a look at the saloon from the top of that landing. And now we are walking back down that staircase and back into the saloon. And here we're getting one last look at the beautiful saloon as we walk through the double doors back into the first area where we walked down that hall to the left there. And again, this was where the original ticket counter used to be. And finally, out the front door. Well, how about that? What an amazing place. And that is only just some of what you could see if you come down to Doylestown to Fonthill and take that tour. That's just the everyday, daily, hour-long tour. They also do behind-the-scenes tours where you can see more of the house, go through a couple of the hidden staircases. You can go up that tiny spiral staircase all the way up to the top of the tower. They take you into the servants' quarters. They bring you down into the basement, into the crypt. There's also a tower-only tour that they do where you only go through the floors of the tower. And then there's all sorts of fun things and events that they do for kids. But in addition to Fonthill, there's also his actual Tileworks factory, which is still in operation today. And you can visit it and you can buy all of the tiles that you see in the house. They're still currently being manufactured. And Fonthill is just down the road over there, but the tile factory is right there. And in addition to that, there's also Mercer Museum in downtown Doylestown. This is the Mercer Museum in downtown Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Built by Henry Mercer. You can definitely see some similar architectural features to Fonthill. This was everything from a factory to a prison at one time. And today it showcases and celebrates artifacts from the arts and crafts movement of the early 1900s. But unfortunately, it's after 5 and so the museum is closed, and so this will be for another video. Well, friends, that's going to do it for this video. If you're in the area, I highly recommend a visit to Fonthill Castle in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. It is an amazing place. You can find out more information. I'll put the website down below, mercermuseum.org. Great place to bring the kids, great place to explore, and you know what? Come on a weekday afternoon and you just might get the whole place to yourself. What a stroke of luck. I can't believe it. I love this place. I've been coming here for over 20 years. This place is amazing. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Go take a hike.